When solving a quadratic, my first step is to ensure my quadratic is equal to 0. As I have three terms, a quadratic in terms of x, therefore I'm going to start by factorising into what we call double brackets. As my quadratic starts x squared, therefore each bracket will start with a single x. My rule is I need to find two numbers that multiply together to give us the number term, in this case negative 12, and the same two numbers must still add to give us the number in front of the single letter, which in this case is positive 4. Well, I know the only way to get a negative when multiplying is to have one positive and one negative. Listing out the factors of 12, well, we have 1 and 12, we have 2 and 6, and we have 3 and 4. Factors a number that divides into the number without leaving a remainder. Only one of these pairs will multiply, in this case, to give us negative 12, and still add together, in this case, to give us positive 4. In this case, our pair is 2 and 6. As I want positive 4, therefore it must be plus 6 and negative 2, as 6 times negative 2 is negative 12, and 6 subtract 2 gives you 4. As we're solving, we now place each single bracket equal to 0. As I want to work out the values of x, we'll look at my first equation. The opposite of add 6 is to bring it to the right. Opposite add 6, therefore, it changes sign, therefore become negative 6. Look at my second equation. The opposite of minus 2. I'm going to move that across to the right. If you move the term across an equal sign, it changes sign. So minus 2 becomes positive 2. Therefore, my two solutions is x is negative 6 and x equals positive 2. For question 2, again, I'm solving a quadratic as I have x squared. My first step is to ensure my quadratic is equal to 0. Here I can see my quadratic is equal to 2x. Therefore, my first step is to rearrange by moving the 2x across to the left by doing the opposite. Opposite add 2x, therefore is subtract 2x from both sides of my equation. On the left-hand side, I still have x squared. I have 5x take away 2x, which will simplify to give us 3x. I've still got negative 10. And on the right-hand side, I know that 2x subtract 2x will cancel to give us 0. Now that my quadratic is equal to 0, I know I've got three terms, therefore it's going to factorise into what we call double brackets. As my quadratic starts x squared, therefore each bracket will start with a single x. My rule is I need to find two numbers that multiply to give us the number term, in this case, negative 10, and the same two numbers must still add to give us the number in front of the single letter, which in this case is positive 3. The only way to get a negative when multiplying is to have one positive and one negative. Listing out our factors of 10, we know our factors of 10 are going to be 1 and 10 and 2 and 5. The only pair that multiply to give us negative 10 and still add together to give us positive 3, in this case is going to be 2 and 5. As I need positive 3 in front of the single x, therefore it has to be plus 5 and negative 2. As 5 times negative 2 gives you negative 10, and 5 subtract 2 gives you positive 3. Again, as we're solving, we now place each single bracket equal to 0. As I'm solving, I want to work out the values of x. Look at my first equation. The opposite of add 5 is to bring it to the right. When it goes across an equal sign, it changes sign. So opposite add 5 is therefore minus 5. That's one solution. Look at my second equation. The opposite of minus 2. Again, bring it to the right. If it goes across an equal sign, it changes sign. Opposite of minus 2, therefore, is positive 2. Hence, my two solutions is x is negative 5 and x equals positive 2. For question 3, again, I'm solving a quadratic. As I can see, I've got y squared. My first step is to ensure my quadratic is equal to 0, which it is. As I've got three terms, I know it's going to factorise into double brackets. As it's a quadratic in terms of y, therefore, now each bracket will start with a single y. My rule is I need to find two numbers that multiply together to give us the number term, in this case, positive 6. And the same two numbers must still add to give us the number in front of the single letter, which in this case is positive 5. Be careful here. The number term is actually in the middle, and the single letter is actually at the end. So remember, I want two numbers that multiply to give us the number term. The number term is the one with no letters. So I want two numbers that multiply to give us 6. Well, listing out the factors of 6, we know the factors of 6 are 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. Only one of these pairs will multiply to give us positive 6 and still add to give us a number in front of the single letter, which in this case is positive 5, which in this case is 2 and 3. Therefore, I'm going to have plus 2 and plus 3. As I'm solving, I now place each single bracket equal to 0. As I want to get the values of y, the opposite of plus 2, I'm going to move that to the right. When it goes over an equal sign, it changes sign. So therefore, positive 2 becomes negative 2. That's one solution. Look at my other equation. The opposite of plus 3, moving that to the right. If it goes over an equal sign, it changes sign. Therefore, the opposite of plus 3 is negative 3. Hence, my two solutions is y is negative 2 and y equals negative 3.
Your turn.